Good morning. It's Monday again. How do Mondays come around so quickly? I'm beginning to think it's a bit of a plot. I don't know about you and this global shutdown that we have. I'm only coping because I have my creative side. So I'm beginning to wonder how the rest of you with family members who are not creative, how are they coping? Hi Tanya. Oh, somebody's been using my iPad. Sorry. No, go away. Somebody's been using my iPad, so they've upped the volume. Morning, Belinda. Abby. Okay, so today I've decided, so what I'm doing is I'm going through my stash and I'm looking at what I've got and using it up. So I taught an album together with Isabel a couple of years ago now, because of course I've been here for a year in Berlin, and I taught this class. In fact, B, you were in it. I did a whole technique class, cutting down a folder, doing, not sure if you can see that, doing roses on the cover and other techniques. And so I still have some of these left over. These are the notes that everybody got of what to do where. And here are my cutting notes. This I might actually put up as a PDF. I'm going to bring it up closer. It's how to get the most out of a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And so I will put these up as a PDF if I can work out how to do that. I will not be following this because I'm making today up as we go along. It really is a makeup day. And hi Charmaine. So these are the pages that I have that were prepared for a kit, and I had pre-scored them, and you could then either fold it this way and have your pouch there, or you could fold it that way and have your pouch on the inside. So it's entirely up to you then where you punch. So I will put those instructions, and I've put, so I used Lady Pattern paper. This is a South African brand, and the names on the PDF relate to the actual piece of paper that I used, because most of the companies, when they design papers, they give a page a name, like, hello, this has got stars on, so it's called Starry Night. Anyway, so I'm going to put those on one side because I have got some prepped in here for you. I did do some organizing. Afternoon approver. Natalie. So what I did on the weekend, I was participating in a YouTube live, which was awesome, except that YouTube and me, apparently we're not friends on the live front, because I landed up having 6 or 7 tries to be able to get the blue button to be able to go live. And so I had 6 or 7 live options open, and everybody was hopping in and trying to find me. It was stressful. I wasted 8 minutes of my 1 hour. And I last taught this cover 6 years ago. This was made from one of Tim's worn covers, which is flat, and then you pop his little ring binder in there. And this is my most popular ever pinned thing on Pinterest. Well, I think one of the pins has got something like 28,000 likes, views, pins. It's, yeah. So I decided to revisit this on the weekend and recreate it, and here's the weekend's version with new products. So back when I created this 6 years ago, rust paste was not a thing, the waxes was not a thing, so I recreated this, which was all Tim Holtz products, with some Finnabair added in, some rust paste on there, some of her waxes on the edges, some of her gorgeous metal embellishments. And one of the things with these lockdown situations is I have decided that I'm actually going to use what I have. I don't know about you, but I hoard stuff. So I've been collecting ideology, and so I used one of Tim's faucet knobs on the back so that it's easier to grab off the shelf. And I've decided that I'm actually going to use stuff. What's the point in hoarding it if I'm not going to use it? Because I don't know about you, but no project was ever special enough to use the expensive stuff on. So if I've spent the money, I'm now going to use it. So we won't be doing the cover today. I'm just showing you what I created. What I am going to tell you is how, well, you can watch, it's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. So it was basically, it started off as a great big A4 folder like that, which I cut down to look like that. And then it got gessoed and it got textured, etc. So what I've decided to do, and please excuse that we now have not only one set of people drilling in our building, we have two. So I have what I call building dentists, because it sounds like people who drill in a dentist, but like on a bigger scale. So I call them building dentists. I now have them in stereo. Oh my soul. So one of them is fixing the water problem that we've been having for the last 2 weeks. I'm very grateful for that. But the other one is the ongoing flat on the floor, 4th floor. Good grief. I promise, maybe I haven't had enough coffee. Just excuse me a second. So yes, so we're going to be doing what goes on the inside of these folders. And of course, you can cut your folder to whatever size suits you or leave it the original size. It's entirely up to you. But the way I've designed these is that they will take, and just to double check myself, morning Karen, morning Javilna, morning other Belinda. So these are 12.5 centimeters, or if I use inches, these are 5 by 7 inches. Okay, so that's why you can get as much use out of a 12 by 12 sheet as possible. And I've made pockets for tags and flips for photographs. This is just a single sheet. Here's another tag and a flip out the other way, and a flip with a photo mat. And so yes, even though you are punching where the folded side is, you can still open it. I know it sort of doesn't make logical sense to punch it and then have an opening like that, but it works. I've got a deep pocket with the tag. I've got a shallow pocket with an extra fold over and another little pull out from the bottom for the with a photo mat. And I've got another photo mat and a flip out and flip out with, and this one's got a hidden tag, which we will be putting a little something on to be able to pull it out a little bit easier. And my last page is just a blank. So what I've done is I have pulled out all the kit stuff that is left. This is what my students received in their losable bag. This is what I call losables. I think Tim coined that phrase. So I'm going to open the bag of losables, pop them out. Because the first thing everybody does when they go to a class and they have all these delicious things is tip them out on their desk. And then the second thing that happens is down the line, I can't find this. You never gave me that. Well, I promise it was all in there, because it was. And well, things happen. If you anything like me, your desk is a bit of a Bermuda Triangle of your own creation. So this little guy, before I lose it, is the inside of the book plate that I have die cut from Tim's tag die. That is what is going to go on this sneaky little tag that is in here, stamped with Tim's little girl stamp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop her back inside, push her flush with the edge, and I'm going to put a little bit of glossy accents. Now I see I've left my glossy accents open. Maybe this one will work. I'm going to sit down. My cat has not stolen my chair today. Afternoon, Rashmi. Hello, Shamila. Shamila, you were also in this class. So this is just a different take on the class that we did at Janine's shop. And I'm looking for my pin because I'm sure this is blocked before I even try. Maybe I'm blaming it. Oh, sorry, good glue. Somebody asked on another thing why I use glossy accents as a glue. Well, just because it's, for me, the best glue. I know it's supposed to make things shiny, and in fact I have a little piece of washi tape there that's supposed to hold my pin for emergencies, and it dries so quickly, so that's why I use glossy accents as a glue. I have got other glues, but that's my go-to favorite glue. So I have, as I said, I'm not following the original instructions. I'm gonna go a bit steampunky because I still have left over from my live the other day this cover that I still need to decorate. So I will be putting, in fact I think I'm going to decorate the cover tomorrow in tomorrow's Facebook Live, and I'm going to stencil it and use my mid-form castings that I have on my desk. I'm going to finish that off. So I'm wanting these insides to suit this rustic, grungy, gonna be steampunky cover. So that's where I'm going with these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my desk. I'm going to pull out each page as I go, and as I said, I'm making this up as I go along. I've got some stencils out. I've got my whole folder of stencils sitting on one side. It's got to the point where my desk is so full I'm actually using my drawers as extra pull-out surface. So, right, I'm going to treat this as my front page. I'm going to just have a look and see what stencils I've got going here. So I'm going to add this stencil in along here, and it's the perfect fit. Just make sure that it's straight. And now I tidied up. Oh, you wouldn't believe that I've tidied up. So now where are my ink applicators? Not where they should be. Funny that, because when they are where they should be, I should in theory be able to find them. Let me just pop those away. Oh dear, oh dear. Applicator tool, where have you gone? Gone. I'm looking for my vintage photo. Ah, here they are. You guys probably could see them. Okay, so I'm using, I don't know if you can see this, it's a bit off shot. I'm going to bring it in a bit. Tim suggested that we put this, what in South Africa we call gecko mat. I know. I used to use this stuff in my car boot so that my shopping didn't all fly around. And it's great for putting your ink pads on, because then it allows you to use one hand instead of having to hold the ink pad, and you can then stencil. So I'm starting off with brown and just making sure that I'm straight again, and I'm going to ink through my stencil. Now I masking taped this off. I say masking tape, I couldn't find my masking tape, so I used washi tape. Sacrilege. But when you're live and you can't find what you have very carefully prepared, oh, listen to the building dentist. I wish they would get finished. So we have background noise. Some people play music, me, I have building dentists. Under my map. Yeah. So, okay. There we go, that looks good. Now you see, I didn't put any masking tape on that side, and in my excitement I have gone over my edge, but that's not the end of the world, because I think I'm going to just distress this edge, which will hide that edge there, and bring this round the edge, and I'm going to lift it up and do my edges. For me, I just feel that inking your edges frames your page and helps to show things up a bit. Okay, so I've got that done. What else do I have in my little pile? It's a bit like when Finnabear did her live the other day. It's like a little pile of magic here, because I honestly can't remember what I used. Oh, goody. Okay, so now I have a tag that can go in there, and I'm going to use, let's see what will fit on my tag. I have some stencils here. I'm looking through my stencil folder. Oh, time is not going to fit on there, but I'm going to get this stencil. It's by Antunes from Stamperia. I'm going to get out this stencil as well, also by Antunes from Stamperia. And I'm going to get this one out and this one out. And then I like these big clocks that I've got here. These ones were a gift from Poland when my friend Olga went to her home country. And I'm going to take this one out as well. It says time is an illusion. How long is forever? Sometimes just 1 second. So I wonder if that how long is forever will fit on a tag. Because I don't know about you, but half of me is feeling like this lockdown is going really quickly. And I know I live in Germany, so Angela Merkel is discussing carrying it on. How long is forever? Sometimes just 1 second. That fits perfectly on my tag. Let's get all of this stuff out of the way. I'm not going to be using this now, so I'm going to make some space by putting it on the floor, because my desk is rather full. Oh, and what's my punch doing here? Well, before I put this together, I used actually this little 1-inch punch. In fact, it looks like a smaller punch. No, that's it. There we go. No, it was a smaller punch. So goodness knows what punch I used. I pushed my punch, as you can see, halfway in to create that little hole. And I know somewhere in my folder there is one that didn't get done. So I'm just going to push those out the way until I need them. And now I'm going to fit this tag. Let's get you guys out the way. And my paintbrush that's possibly going to be used or not going to be used. Let's pop this on here, make it fit, make it fit, make it fit. And I'm going to use black. I think that was my paint one. No, that was my paint one. That's my ink one. I'm doing that on my hand because I can feel it's hard from the paint. And again, this is a very, very thin stencil. It's not made for texture paste. So Stamperia has various degrees of thickness. So they have mixed media stencils and they have traditional thin stencils like this. And the nice thing about this thin stencil is that all the detail comes out without you having to press too hard. I mean, there I haven't even inked up everything properly and it's already visible because you're not fighting the thickness of the plastic. It's almost, I would go so far as to say it's paper thin, and I rather like that. So I love these stencils. These stencils are what I actually used. You might have seen me in January. I went to Frankfurt to the expo where they launch all the products called Creative World. It's like what they used to call CHA, and they now call it's Creativation in the States, and here in Europe it is Creative World. And I made my own t-shirt using all of Stamperia's stencils, but I used, so that it would be permanent, I used archival ink. So these marks you can see here are archival ink, so they're not going to come off anytime soon. And I'm just using the whole stencil as it is, and then I'm going to grab my brown and I'm going to double up. They've got some bricks going on through here, so to make it a bit richer, I'm using the vintage photo through there, and just move my hand down. So I don't know how far we'll get in the hour. I only plan on doing an hour. I know Olga said to me, please lose the clock, because I keep bringing the kitchen clock. I remembered today to bring the kitchen clock. She says, because it's much more fun when you just go on and on and on. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to make the question mark a little bit brown. Let's see what we've got. Perfect. How long is forever? Sometimes just 1 second. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, have I got on my desk, that's black. I'm looking for embossing powder. Excuse me a second while I just zoom across the room without tripping over everything that is. Nope, that's white. No idea. I think that's clear. I don't know if this is white or clear. Well, we'll soon find out. I'm going to use my notes as piece of paper. Your distress inks have an open time, and I'm hoping that my paper wasn't too porous, and I'm going to see if where I put the extra brown will accept my embossing powder. Let's see, and let's do the question mark. On your marks, get set, go. Ha! It did work. Yay! Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more on that corner. Okay, and now where I don't want it, where it's stuck to bits that I didn't think were still wet, I'm going to take a teeny tiny little paintbrush, and I'm just going to take that excess off, because I just want the question mark highlighted. Okay, and take that off there, and off there. I'm just taking the embossing powder off the bits that I don't want to emboss. If you hold it at an angle, you can kind of see it's kind of gray where it's stuck where it shouldn't be, because when you start heating, you can't control your heat gun to that degree. Okay, and let's put the powder back before I tip it everywhere, because that's what happens in my world. Morning, Helen. Hi, Inga. Hi, Anita. Hi, Kanchan. Kanhan. I'm sorry. As soon as your name is not English, I really do abuse it. So if I'm not even going to try and pronounce your Indian name. And I know it's afternoon there. Okay, so this heat gun has been around the block. Oh, today it's not too noisy. It's been dropped, glued back together. This is Tim's heat gun. It has the dispersing heat, so it is the same temperature as the embossing tool, which has a narrow heat. Oh, this is real potluck stuff. It's nameless. It's probably 30 years old, and it's got a little bit of white because obviously somewhere along the line the clear has been mixed up with the white. So I have a serendipitous thing going on here. That's so funny. I'm going to bring it up to the screen to see if you guys can see it. So instead of being clear, I have a little bit of white granules in there. So I now need to label that as mix. Yes, because I teach classes and clearly this one's label has fallen off. It was there once. You can see by the where the sticky was. Some poor student somewhere along the line has got it mixed up. So it's a serendipitous happy thing. I rather like that. Okay. Okay, let me just find a Koki and write mix. Mix M-I-X, and I'll make a proper label for it later, but just so that I know. Right, now let's pop that over there. I'm going to make the edges brown. Oh, I seem to have some embossing powder still on there. This is just normal craft cardstock, and again I got it from Lady Pattern Paper, but a lot of companies do craft stock. I enjoy working on the craft stock. It's a lovely neutral base. It's quite porous, and I often find it's darker on one side than the other, so depends on you and your personal preference. How long is forever? Sometimes just 1 second, especially as I'm going to have a clock on the front. I wonder if time will fit on here. I think this is just long enough. Okay, so in this gap over here, it fits literally from top to bottom. I couldn't have made it better if I tried, but now I need to protect a wet and rainy Cape Town. You guys need the rain so badly. I'm sure it's an ongoing thing. So I'm going to protect this page over here from possibly messing onto it. And I'm going to use my black. So let's put my brown there. I'm going to use my black for my wording. This is black soot. And I'm just going to wiggle it in there. And I go quiet as I concentrate. Okay, so now the word illusion is a problem because it's not fitting. So I'm going to just finish off the word time, and then I'm going to shift my stencil. Right, is an, okay, and I want the is an illusion to stand out, so I'm going to make that brown over the top, and I'm going to make it brown as well, and then let's just make sure this is dark enough, and then I've gone over that edge there, and I've gone into that bit there, and I've gone into that bit there. Now I'm going to move this so that illusion, oh dear, I went into it a bit, but that's just tough. It will be an illusion. I'm going to move that across there, protect that there, get my fingers in there, and maybe I should use a little brush. What have I got? I think this one's black. Yeah, I've got these makeup brushes, and I'm gonna, because I can control it better, I'm gonna pop that in there. It takes a little longer for me to use the makeup brushes because you got to refill them a whole lot more, but you can be far more accurate with these guys. So the set I bought had a whole lot of different sizes in it, which really helps for making this kind of, there we go. Time is an illusion. And right, I need to put back, and again I'm going to go slightly closer to my line, and then I'm still going to put that here to protect that, and I'm going to go with my brown into my bricks and the cracks and the splat and these bricks down here. Okay, let's see what I've got. Time is an illusion, and I know I've got that on there, but it will make sense when I pull that out. Okay, so I'm quite happy with this, because if I push that right in, I can read the word time and that. Yay! So I think I'm done with that page. As I said, I'm making this up as I go along today, so really is how I think. So you're getting a window into my brain. I just have to try and remember to think out loud so you guys can hear me. Okay, so here I have a flap open, and this is my next facing page. So I like to then work my facing pages together, and I've got bricks going on here, so I think I'm going to use Antoni's new stencil with, and I'm flipping and flopping it, so it's got wording on filters, on off, pressure, and this is one of their thicker stencils. So I'm going to place it on here and have on top of this brickwork, I'm going to have some pipe work, and these are very, very thin, so you just have to work gently. And I think I'm going to also work with the brown and the black, and I'm going to start off with my brown because I'm going to come back with the black as a shadow. And so I'm just tapping gently, especially where I've got these really, really thin pieces of plastic. I don't want to bend them, especially this guy. So when I work with this guy, I actually hold it halfway down to give a little bit of extra support, because it bends and wiggles all over the place as you're working. So I'm going to first do the whole stencil in brown, and then I'm going to come back with my black on my little brush, and I'm going to do the accents. So again, just be careful with these little guys, because you can bend them, and once this plastic is bent, there's no going back. I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever cleaned a stencil and you've bent a little bit, man, oh man, it never wants to know your story about behaving again. And I think this stencil came out with Antoni's new SeaWorld, Mechanical SeaWorld range. I'm lucky enough to have a store here in Berlin that brings all the Stamperia stuff in. It is called Mit Liebe, so with love, made with love. It's the English name for the shop is Homemade with Love. And when it's open, it is my second address. If I'm not here at home, I'm there. And what I've decided to do, guys, because I've got a lot of people requesting the fine art things and the crafting side, so I've decided to split my week, and I'm having a craft week. Oh, now I've shifted it. So let's take it off completely, see what we've got. That's looking quite good. And pop it back again. There we go. And now I'm going to use these skinny little lines that they've got in the stencil as my shadow side. And that's when having a tiny little brush like this guy, in fact I've even got a skinnier one, so maybe that would be better. Let's see. The problem with these brushes is it takes a little while for them to build up color, and then it comes off really quickly. Let's see how that's looking. Yes, that's working with the shadows. But I'm going to go back to this guy and get that into the on-off switch label. And when you're working with this really thick plastic, you really do have to wiggle in to pick up these fine lines. It's fine if you're working with texture paste or something like that, because it goes through, and I want this 127, whatever that's for, degrees, time, seconds, I don't know. Okay, and here I've got this skinny line again, which I'm going to hold with my finger. Try and build some shadow on this side. If I don't have inky fingers, then at the end of the day, somehow I feel like I've missed out on something. Inky fingers are a good sign, people. Inky fingers are a good sign. Okay, and I've got this word filters down here. So I'm going to work in with this brush right into the letters. Okay, I've got some more little tiny numbers down here, which did actually come out to some degree, but I'm going to just wiggle it just a little bit. Sorry, now you're all going to have that earworm. But I have to entertain myself while I craft. So sometimes songs pop into my head. Or sayings. Okay, so I need some more shadows going over there. I need to bring it down and underneath. So I'm just using the stencil to guide me as to where my shadows should be. And I'm not going overboard. I'm just, so now this side and that side needs shadows. Okay, what were they thinking? Maybe it's not meant to be shadows. There's some more detail that needs picking up. And right, I am happy with that. So now that's my facing page. And blow me down, I oopsed over the, how did I do that? Very easily, I can tell you. So now we need to, and look at my inky fingers. Inky fingers needs a wet wipe. Hello, Hazel. Okay. Get rid of this ink, because otherwise I land up inking everything in patches. I don't want patches. And dry it on a tissue. Right, not that it's stained my fingers, which is fine, but at least, hopefully, it won't be coming off. Okay, so now I'm just going to work my mess away by shading it. And this will help to pop this page out a little bit. There we go. So it links that color with that color. So now I need to, and I have managed to get it dirty there with my dirty inky fingers. But I'm going to stencil on this side, and I think I'm going to use this guy. And I'm going to drop him down so that I lose a little bit of his jacket, but I keep the, looks like a vintage film reel going on his head. And I'm going to use black. Where's my black? That's my brown. Black. I've masking taped off where I don't want my ink to go accidentally. And although this looks like plain paper, I know that it has been printed on, so the paper is not nearly as porous as raw paper. So what I'm going to try and do is see if I can use that accidental mix that I've discovered on top here, because I know that it'll have, the ink won't sink into the paper as fast, and it'll hopefully sit on top long enough for me to be able to put some powder on it. And let's see, okay, let's give him a black jacket and bow tie and these cogs and gears. And try and see if I can give him a brown face. This is a shadow, so I'm going to get some black into the shadow under his neckline there. He's got goggles on. And let's bring the brown in. So we'll give him brown hair, brown ears, brown goggles, brown moustache. And just because that is part of his neck, and I know I made it black because I wanted it more shadow, I'm going to bring a little bit of brown in there. Okay, and what else can I do? Maybe I should have some brown going up here on the reel. I'm just wiggling it in the middle. Okay, and I want it a little bit blacker on his hat, so I'm going to go a whole lot darker just on his hat, and especially here where it's supposed to be the inside of his hat. So just because it's a stencil doesn't mean it has to be all one color, and you can use your colors lighter and darker. Okay, right, let's see if this new magic mix is going to do its thing. Let's pop it on, and this time I'm going to put it over the whole thing, because that'll make it look a little bit more vintage, and it'll make it look slightly different from a traditional stencil. Right, there we go, that's worked nicely. Oh, there's even some glitter in this mix. It really is a potluck mix. Hi Betty, welcome. Today I'm making this up as I go along. I'm making the inside pages for my album, and I'm just playing. You're getting an insight into my world as to how I think. Just making sure that I don't have any excess on there, and close this, because the kind of day I'm having so far, this will be knocked over and you'll have to just watch me Facebook Live clean my desk. That could be a Facebook Live on its own. Okay, so holding it up and heating it. So this just takes a little bit longer because you got to heat the page. There we go. Oh, I am loving this potluck mix. Trying not to melt my fingers. Okay, I need to grab it elsewhere. I don't know if you can see on the screen that it's going shiny, so this happens to be a mix of clear and white with the dash of glitter. Okay, almost roasted him. Roasty toasty done. still a bit tacky. So I like that. And so that this links across, I'm just going to let that cool off a little bit. I'm going to bring some of my shading that I added over here. I'm going to bring that across here. And is it cool enough? Yep. I'm going to, and the nice thing is that where you have put embossing powder, it's going to resist the ink. So I'm going to turn it that way because it's just easier for my hand. Right, so that fades in from that side. So I've got two matching pages, and I think I'm going to bring something from, I'm feeling like this is a bit bare and empty on that side. I'm feeling like maybe I need to bring, yes, Sharon, you know me well. I'm a bit steampunk obsessed. So I think I'm going to use the same stencil up here and just have this on-off story going. Sorry, I'm just going to mask it because apparently I am incapable today of staying out of where I shouldn't be. So I'm using Tim's pointy fingers, which is a bit of a sacrilege, but it's what I have on my desk. Okie dokie. And right, so we're going to pop that where I feel like it needs to be in this top corner somewhere, just to link across. And I'm going to go with my little brush because I need to wiggle it into the thick plastic. So I guess you could use any brushes. These are just what I found at a local shop. Okay. Yeah, I'm not much of a makeup person, as in on my face, but I'm great on makeup brushes over here. So that just helps to visually link across some of the same lettering from there and there. And I have pre-die cut myself a whole lot of little cogs and gears and things. And so I think I'm going to add a couple of these guys in the black onto his... Please, please, please work. No, nope. Working first time earlier was pure fluke. So use the pin, clear the hole. Problem with pushing the problem into the jar is it comes back up the tube. There we go. It's back up the tube. Push it right in. Go away, whatever the problem was. Love glossy accents, but I hate this blocking nozzle. I know Tim says let the air back in, blah blah. It doesn't work for me. Okay, so he already has some cogs and gears going on here, and I'm just going to add to them some of these little guys. And I wonder what will happen if I put that there. Yeah, I quite like that one there. Or maybe we should have a bigger one there. I think I'm going to go with that one. I like building layers. The more layers I can have, the happier I am. So layers of textures, layers of color, layers of dyes, layers of layers. So I'm going to make that match up with that just for fun. And then I need a piece of roller towel, because if you press that down, because I've used glossy accents of course dries shiny. So I found if I do this, morning Michael, we're crafting today. If I do this, then the glue gets absorbed by the roller towel. Okay, so now I'm happy with that. Fine, so we pop that back in our folder. So that was page 1. This is page 2. And what has happened is my tag has gone right into the hole. So my tag is going to have to pop out a little bit. And there we go. So that's going to be page 2. And I'm going to turn over and oh, look at that. Because I did the embossing powder, he's come right through like a ghost. Haha. Right, so now we have a ghost to deal with. I wonder if that will resist. Let's see. Let's see what will happen if I know when I have done this. So when I have used archival ink on one side of my page and it's gone right through in an art journal, it has resisted a color wash. So what do I mean by color wash? Well, let's experiment and see. I've been using this vintage photo. I'm going to pop some on my craft mat and I'm going to wet it, and let's see if the other side of him. So I'm now going to just go splat. No, it's not really resisting that. I think because the paper already has, yeah, it is kind of okay, but that makes it more interesting. So I'm going to just absorb some of that drip and I'm going to dry this. So I'm just going to build some layers on this side, and I will possibly just pop a photograph over the top of him so that you won't see that. I love these spots that have happened from the ink on the paper. Okay, let's see what happens if, you see, here I go. What happens if I need to make, what did I do with my matching page? So this is my matching page. So I need to make this side match that side. So I'm going to just take that out. And I'm just going to splat that bit. Let's see what happens if I just splat that bit. Oh, I rather like that. Let's try that. So the what if game is my favorite game when I'm at my desk, because you never quite know what's going to happen until you try. It's kind of a life lesson, really. One has to just keep trying. I love this color. Finnabear used her tea bag on her art journal page the other day. This looks like tea color to me. It's vintage photo with water. I love how people who don't do this kind of thing, when they've gone through pages of mine before, they go, oh, you spilled something on there. No, actually that was intentional. So now this is what my page will look like when it's together at this stage. Yes, I'm liking that. That's working. Of course, we're going to be opening that. So let's just do a bit of a splat there and see what I get. Splat one more time. I like that. Pretty much used up everything that's on my mat. Okay, and dry this. I've got cutting mats underneath my craft sheet, which is another reason why I hold things up when I dry, because if I had to put this flat on my craft sheet and then dry it, the heat will go right through my craft sheet. Although it doesn't affect the craft sheet, it will affect my cutting mats that are underneath, and they warp. They do not enjoy being heated unevenly. You can stick them outside in the sun to flatten if you live in a nice warm place. Right now, today's going to be warm here. It's going up to 21. And I've been doing this for nearly an hour. How did that happen? Only done 2 pages. Thank you, Forum. You are very kind. Okay, so the what happens if, so I've got that going. I've got my matching wood there and my matching wood there, but I've still got this guy shining through from the other side of my page, which, as I say, I quite like. And let's just see, what have I got in my arsenal of things here? I've got this, which is a date stamp, and it was from Typo, which is an Australian company attached to cotton on. I rather like it. And so what I did do when I did my original is I used these guys. So this is a border punch, and this is a strip punch, which I then put on the edge to hold something. So let's see, but first I actually used it as a stencil. So let's see what happens if I stencil on this side, or maybe on this side, because then when you open it you have something matching. I'm going to use, this is again just the craft. I'm going to put it right on the edge, try and make it in the middle and straight and line it up. And I'm going to hold it with my finger. So I'm using this first as a stencil, and I don't want black, I want brown. I'm going to use my vintage photo again. And this is what I call a positive stencil or a mask, because I need to fade out these edges so that I don't get a hard line. So, okay, that's that guy done. So I can wiggle over here, trying not to bend it, silly Billy. And hold somehow over here, because there's nothing underneath here. So if I hold this edge, there's no paper underneath, and this page will escape. And I hope I'm actually in shot, because on my YouTube one that I did on Saturday, I had to use a webcam, because I don't have 1,000 viewers, or 1,000 subscribers should I say, on my YouTube channel. I couldn't use my phone, so I had to use my computer and a webcam. Okay, so now I've done that. Ta-da! Okay, I'm just gonna fade out some of my shading here so that it fades out into the page. There we go. And so that this side, which is now all smooth, matches that side, I'm going to do the trick where you take some water, spread in your hand, and just drip it in places. There we go. And that is going to react with the ink that is on your page. Hi Angela, welcome. That coffee is ice cold. Yes, it is ice cold. I drink it till it's finished. Sorry if it upsets people. I know some people only drink their coffee hot. It is perfectly ice cold now. And I use my roller towel as a whole roll, and I'm going to just lift this ink so that I've got some splats and things happening on that side. Kind of a negative of what's happening on this side. So I'm going to blow dry those quickly, because they will also dry a bit lighter than you see, so they've soaked into the paper. I drink my coffee cold even when I'm crafting by myself without you guys, because I forget about it. Okie dokie. Right, so that's what my page is looking like, and I've got that one there. So then I open up there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this side, this as a pocket over here, and I'm going to just bring some of my brown further down, fade it out a little bit more. And I'm going to run some double-sided tape, some skinny tape. Where's my skinny tape? Skinny tape. Where you gone? Here. I'm going to use and find the beginning. Thankfully it's thick so you can find the beginning. I'm going to run some skinny tape down there. Find my little scissors. And I'm going to stick this. It's static, sticking to me. So that these two pages kind of match, I'm going to pop this on this side, over here, try and line it up. No, don't stick. I suppose I could stick it inside and have a little bit of border, but I want it right on the edge. Okay, so now you have stereo of my husband with the coffee machine and the drilling upstairs. Joy of joys. Okay, so let's see if I can get it in the middle, get it in the middle, get it on the edge in the middle. Okay. It's as near as damn it, as my granddad used to say. And I'm going to trim the excess off the side. And trim the excess off. There we go. So now this is acting as like a pocket. And what am I going to stick in there? So I've got that going there. I think I had a tag here at some stage. Yes, there it is. So we've got a tag that will go in there. And I've got either a ticket I can cut out and add in there, or I've got the circle. I think I'm going to go, I like the round with the round. Yes, I like that idea. So I'm going to morning Michael, other Michael. So today we've had 2 Belindas pop in, and I've got 2 Michaels popping in. It's great to see friends online. Social distancing and all that. At least with social media, we're not that far away from each other. We can FaceTime. There's this new thing called Zoom. Well, it's new to me. My husband's apparently been using it forever as a meeting tool. But now the rest of the world has got to discover it too. And yeah, so we can meet up online and all chat together. And of course that needs a little bit of ink, because it's not mine if it doesn't have ink on. When I first discovered these inks, my husband used to say, I'm going to just keep moving from chair to chair to chair, because if something sat still for too long, I would ink it. Right, I like that idea. Okay, so that's that done. And we've gone over an hour. Should I carry on? Do one more page, one more tag, because this has got to go in here. Tell me, people, should I carry on? I'm going to drink because there's a delay. I can't see your responses for a few minutes. Well, it feels like forever. You're watching with your 6-month-old granddaughter. Starting them young. Yes, start them young. I started my son young, and it pays off in the end, actually. There, I finished my coffee. Ice cold. Who needs iced coffee? I've seen these things, this whipped coffee that everybody's been doing online, and I looked at the instructions and oh my word, you've got to whip it. Firstly, it has umpteen gazillion spoons of sugar in it, which I can't have. And secondly, you've got to whip it by hand for, okay, more please, one more page please. Okay, awesome, will do. You've got to whip it for 8 to 10 minutes. Good grief, I don't have that kind of stamina. I want instant gratification. Okay, I'm going to leave that tag for now. And we're going to turn over and see what have we got. So now if I turn over, so that's that page. I've got this page, so I've got horizontal and I've got horizontal. I've got vertical and I've got horizontal stripes. And this one has that going on. Right, let's pull this page out and marry these two up. Right, what am I going to do here? Well, I think I'm going to make a belly band. I think they call it a belly band on this side. Maybe I should make it on that side so that that's a vertical matching that side. Okay, well, so this is from, oh my word, so of course in front of me is where all my punches are, but I can't reach them because I've got so much stuff in front of them. Let me see, without causing an avalanche. Nope, that's the cupcake one. Let's move. This is my happy place light. Oh, no, we're going to cause an avalanche. Not worth it. Let's see what's behind this one. Ah, there we go. Let's try not to cause an avalanche. No avalanching allowed. Okay, so this is the punch that I used, and you can just keep making it. I call it a ribbon punch. Don't know what its technical term is. And I have stopped it. It's not have my wet wipe there, which will make my paper wet. I have done it once, maybe twice, so that, or maybe less than twice, so that I've still got a little bit to be able to stick there and there, which I will do with double-sided tape. So I'm going to just cut this excess off here and cut the excess off here so that that's not visually irritating me. And then of course it's not mine if I haven't inked it, so I'm just going to ink these edges. When I was designing this kit, I went through all my stash that has a similar sort of feel to it. So when I say stash, not just my papers and things, I went through my dies, I went through my punches, I went through my embossing folders, I went through my stamps. And much like how Finnabear creates a traveling kit for herself, so I'm just going to take from these things and from the edge of the paper, I've got a whole lot of grit on there. Just going to wipe that off. Finnabear, when she travels, creates for herself a traveling kit where she chooses 4 colors of paint, matching colors in crayons and things, a little set of ephemeria, a little set of papers, and an art journal, and so on. And it kind of forces your creativity. So what I do when I am designing something is I look for things that are similar. So that pattern there is kind of has the same feel as that, which has a similar feel to this die. And then I found this die that has a similar feel. So I try and repeat patterns and shapes throughout my book, just so that it has a comfortable feeling. And so I'm now going to pop this as a photo belly band. Now this is a flip out, so I'm going to put it to one side on that side, and I'm just going to cut this shorter, and I'm going to, because I'm right-handed, so I'm just going to turn it over and cut that shorter, because that just gives me visually a better idea of what I want to do. Okay, I like that. But first I'm going to ink this edge. And when you hold up your paper, you get a smaller edge of ink happening on your paper. And I want to ink it first before I stick, because that's going to affect my page. Here we go. Right, so I've got that opening like that, and I'm going to put that there. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to run some of my skinny tape, which is gone. There it is. I'm just going to put a little bit. You can use glossy accents, you can use glue. I do prefer, where possible, to actually use glue instead of, and I'm just making sure that I'm not sticking this outside too far. I do prefer to use glossy accents to glue these kind of things together, because, okay, I'm using the red tape, which I have found to be far better quality. I did some classes years and years ago with American Crafts when they came to South Africa, and we made a little concertina handbag thing. Well, as I picked it up when I was packing up to come here, I picked it up and the whole thing just fell apart. The tape had dried out completely, and yeah, it just fell apart. So, and quite a few of my layouts that weren't in sleeves also fell apart. So I'm going to put that, trying again to even it out and to keep it straight. There, so I'm trying to create a visual link across there, and now I'm just going to trim the excess off. Okay, so now I have a belly band, so a photograph or something can go in there, and it needs more ink. Definitely needs more ink. There we go. Right, so I can use this as a stencil as well. So that was my idea. I originally used this as a stencil. So I'm going to, to bring these circles onto this page, I'm going to just stencil through my die cut. And this die cut didn't have an edge. This is how it was. I got this from Gail. Those of you in South Africa will know Gail. She had Sognomio. Can't think what her latest company is called. I know Sharmila stocked her stuff at one stage. Don't know who's still stocking it. Back in South Africa. Okay, and I'm just going to go over there, because later, I know there's nothing there, because later I'm going to cut this out and use this on my page. That's quite pretty. I think I'm going to repeat it. What about repeating it across the page? Repeat it across these two. Yep, that'll link them. But I'm not going to do it bang in the middle. I'm doing it slightly, so I've got 2/3 on this side and 2/3 on that side. And I'm just inking through this all the way around, giving it nice good pressure so that it goes into the tiny little holes. Ta-da! And a third one for good luck. Or, hang on, what about if I actually use this on the page? I'm going to cut this out as a circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow this outside edge and cut it out. And what is happening on this side? Oh, that'll work. I'll fold it round. because I think I did that in my original. So I'm using this die cut as a dual purpose. So I've done that with the punches, I've done it as a stencil, and now I'm using my die cut as a stencil. There we go. Yes, I like that. And I'm going to fold it just past the big center circle, because I know on this side I've just got a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to glue it like that. I'm going to glue it, lots of glue on this side and just a tiny bit over there, because I'm going to use this again as a pocket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Olga's trick for gluing this. I'm going to take my paper packet, my plastic packet, sorry. I'm going to put some craft glue, which is just your wood glue, you know, like your kiddie's cold glue. Oh, it's Sugarberry Trading. Thank you, Gail's new name. I couldn't remember it. I knew it was something lovely, but I couldn't remember the name. Okay, so I've seen Olga do this with her very fiddly laser cuts, and I'm just going to bend that backwards, and I'm going to tap it in the glue, because then it gets glue where you need it without too much excess. She says, with too much excess happening. I'm going to bend it back, and I'm going to take the excess off. Come out of those holes. I don't want you there. Okay, I'll deal with that just now. So I'm going to pop it. Epic fail. Apparently I can't do what Olga does. Stick. And again I'm using the roller towel to pull. Thankfully this dries clear but not shiny, so you won't see that mess, and it doesn't dry sticky. And then on this side I'm going to use just a smidgen of glossy accents over there. And that's the one that's blocked. Go away. And what do you know, this one's blocked again. Hand-eye coordination issues. There we go. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue there. And I think I'm going to use this tag, which has lines. So I'm working with my visual horizontal and vertical again. And I'm going to just cut this tag out. This was a stamp I bought from Karen's shop. Feels like 100 years ago. I think it's, what brand is it? Let me have a look, see. It was, it's called Blank Ticket, and it's by Memory Box, made in the USA. So that's the stamp that I used. It's one of my favorite stamps. It lives out all the time. I have, those of you who did my studio, watched my studio tour, you'll see that I have all my stamps in A4 file drawers or folder drawers that I bought at Plastics for Africa, or Mambo's Plastics. And this is one that I use so much it never ever goes in its folder. And right, so this page is not particularly steampunkish, but they don't all have to be, but of course it needs ink. And maybe somewhere we'll find a way of putting So there, that's going to go in there. So I've got a belly band going on, I've got a repeat pattern going on, and I haven't inked these edges. Bad girl. Not mine if I haven't inked the edges. There we go. So those edges are all inked. Let's see. Let's get rid of some of this crazy mess. And that's going to go in there. What about bringing a cog or a gear? I think I need one with more stuff going on. What about that one? That works. And yeah, I like that. So I'm going to glue that quickly while my glue is still working. There we go. And right, let's see. So I've now got that coming around the corner that goes with this page. Now I've got that page done. Okay, let's pop that in there. Maybe, what if I had to do half? Yeah, I like that idea. So I'm going to split this guy down the middle. Sorry, I can't cut and talk when it's so fine. And I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to put that half there. That works. And just use a little bit of glue over there. Okay. Come on, behave. Behave. There we go. Forgot to use my roller towel. Come, work. Work with me here, glossy accents. Don't mess. I've got too much there. I'm definitely going to need my piece of roller towel for this one. And pop that one in the middle. Hello, die. Okie dokie, so how are we doing for time, people? I've now been going for an hour and 25 minutes. One more page? Okay, so that's where we're at there. So I've got visually my black pop there and there. Oh, I still haven't done the middle here. Okay. So now this is a photo mat. Okay, what can I bring onto this page? Let's see. What's going on the other side here? What if I had to fold this guy in half and have this going across there? That'll work. But I think I need to use it somewhere first as a stencil. So let's use it on this tag. And I'm going to just use, I don't know if you can see, try and keep in the middle of the screen. Let's use slightly more than half of it up at the top over here. And I'm going to ink through it again as a stencil, and this white cardboard is going to take on my lovely brown. get my... So you might be wondering why I have these ridiculously long ribbons on my little tiny scissors. Well, it's so that I can find them in my Bermuda Triangle, because I, when I'm working, often put things on top of my scissors and I know I've just had them and they can't be far, and they're usually not very far, but usually the ribbon sticks out. So if I can't find my scissors, I look for the purple ribbon on my desk. So ribbon is the scissors locator. Oh dear, I've got a low battery on my iPad. I can't see. Once my iPad goes off, I will have no idea who is visiting, who's still here. I see I've got 16 people watching. Bianca's here. Griselda's here. Okay, and I'm trying to fade this out so that I don't have those little round circly things happening. But I can build on that. Ta-da! Okay, let's use the other half down here because I need to get ink on it somehow. I'm having to push quite hard because this is cardstock, so that it goes through the tiny little details. Pushing quite hard on the die cut, should I say, and right, working it away without trying to go into the other one. Ah, now it's shifted. Behave. There we go. Now I've got a brown die cut. I need to just obviously ink the middle. Okay, so now I've got a tag with something going on, and let's have this up here. So we've got this pattern which is correlating with that pattern, and yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to use this as another pocket thing on this side. So I'm going to fold it slightly more than half. Thanks, Sandy. Yes, I try and give the same feeling all the way through. And as I said, I raid my stash to see what matches, and that's what gives me inspiration. Okay, so let's just, okay, that is going to work. And this time I'm going to use, hopefully this is still working. I'm just going to put dots of glossy accents on all the thick bits of the die, so that it hopefully, oh, I can see some bits that weren't pushed out. Okay, so that won't have made for good stenciling. Okay, so I'm going to pop that up there, fold it round, roll a towel, glue that down. Go away. Sorry, it keeps telling me I've got a low battery and then it freezes. So I'm now way behind on my iPad. Catch up. No, it's way behind. Hopefully the chat has stayed up. Ah, it's caught up. Okay. So I have that happening like that. And then I'm going to just again use a little bit of glue over here, and there, and there, and there, and there. And this didn't, oh, come, fold, fold. Doesn't help if I'm not working on a flat surface. Don't know, but I always land up working in the tiniest of little spaces. I'm going to just pop a peg on that to help it behave. Okay, I have a stencil which I forgot to take out, which is in my great big folder, and it's one that I cut on my silhouette. There we go. And again, that matches the design. Right, that should be glued by now. Yay. That's what I love about glossy accents. Okay, and I'm going to bring this in over here. Right, so now I need, or do I need to? Because I'm probably going to put a photograph there. No, I think that works fine. But I think I need it on this page over here maybe. Yes. So I've got that, which is the stencil of that. So those two link up. Now I need... Hi Zeffy! Grey and wet Athens. We actually have a lovely day for a chance. Yeah. So I'm going to bring this stencil in. It's just a piece of overhead projector acetate that I used in my silhouette. And I haven't used black for a while. These first pages that I did, for those of you who didn't watch from the beginning, I've got some black and some grey going on, but I haven't, and I've got black going on this page. I need to bring some in on this page. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the brown around the center, Mr. Fainter, and I'm then going to go into some black soot and just blend the two, just to make it a little bit more interesting, and possibly go darkest on the edge. So I'm giving a lot more pressure on the edge and letting it fade in towards the brown. And holding it still and letting you guys see what I'm doing is two difficult things to combine. There we go. And just because I know it's still wet, I'm going to throw some of this mix that I've got going here. I accidentally have this mix going and I've discovered I rather like it, so I'm just going to throw this on here, because we haven't had that on a page for a little while. Because again, I'm trying to repeat textures, and your distress inks have what's called an open time, so you can put embossing powder on them. The oxides obviously have a much longer open time because they've got the pigment ink mixed in with the dye ink. But dye ink still does have some open time. I'm going to take that out and heat it. No, I haven't lost my South African accent yet. Apparently your accent is fixed by the time you are 16. And certainly not at the moment. I'm not going out and about and hearing much German, so I'm not being influenced by anything local. And I do find that, of course, I speak German with a South African accent. And my accent isn't particularly South African either, because my father's from London and my mother's from Mozambique. So I don't have the... And I married Basson, of course. So I don't have the Afrikaans side of things too much in my accent. Yeah. So Yes, my voice hasn't changed. Apparently. Okay. I think that's it. That's heated everywhere. No, I've just got this edge. If you overcook it, it sinks into the paper and goes matte. So I'm just being careful not to do that. Let's see, how is this going? Oh, let's have this the right way around. So I've got that side happening there. I've got this happening here. I've got that that's going in there. Okay, of course, none of my edges have got brown on, so that needs to be fixed. Come out. Hi, Kieran. And edge that. For me, I just personally prefer an inked edge. It's personal preference. I've got some friends that don't ink anything. I'm a great fan of ink. I just feel that it frames the page, and in fact I want some ink in there, so I'm going to use my scrap piece of paper and I'm going to just ink along this edge. There we go. You see, if I was still putting this together, I would have probably inked all the edges before I even started. Okay, so now I need something to slip in here. What have I got? I could put a photo mat maybe in there, or I've got some of these guys. Yeah, so that would work. Of course it needs an edge, so I'm not going to brown edge this one. I'm going to ink this one, and I think I'm going to put some sort of sentiment on this, and I've got absolutely no steampunk stuff going on this page. Oh, it's telling me I have a low battery again. Go away. I know I have a low battery. Perhaps I should have been clever and found my, should have brought my plug, but I was only going to do this for an hour, and we're close on 2 hours, people, so I'm going to stop after this page. And I think, right, what other stencils have I got that I can add to? So I've used the time stencil. What about some clocks and gears to go? I think I'll use this one here. Last one to repeat the circle shape. I have no idea where the stencil's from. My good friend Olga got it for me in Poland, so I have no idea what company it was. It was just blank. And I'm going to pop it there. Oh joy, the building dentist's bug. And I'm going to go with, what color should I go with this one? Because it's going to fill this all quite dark. I'm going to start with the brown in the middle. I'm going to go with the brown. And I think I'll fade out into the black again. I wish I could be a nosy Parker and go upstairs and actually see what it is that they are. I'm convinced there's nothing much left of this flat on the 4th floor. Because every day they are grinding or drilling or doing something. Okay, and I'm going to fade out into black up here. Right, almost done. Let's get that out of the ink. happening here. Fade it out slightly there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find more of that edge, that circle edge, and I'm just going to fade a little bit off that edge just to finish the clock. There we go. And finish it off with my tool. Right, because of course that's going to go there. I rather like that. Bring this back. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave that as a photo mat, and I think I'm going to stop there, people. So I've just got a few pages left to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now that you've seen my sort of thought process on how I design my pages, oops, and there's a page without brown, so I'll fix that up and finish this off and do a little mini quick video of it to post once I'm done. And tomorrow we will be doing the cover. So I know it's a bit like going backwards. Today we've made the inside, and tomorrow we will do the outside. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 11 o'clock South African time, Central European time. No idea what time it is anywhere else in the world. And enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.